Behind the scenes, unobtrusively over the years, Sam Lovegrove emerged as Shed and Buried's heartbeat. Equipped with a wrench, quick wit, and a brain full of vintage bike lore, audiences settled in each week to see him and Henry Cole dig out forgotten treasures, revive abandoned classics, and banter as though they'd been brothers for as long as anyone could remember. The chemistry was real, their jobs defined, Henry the volatile wheeler-dealer, Sam the steady-fingered mastermind who could make any rusting engine run like a well-oiled machine. The audience fell for the program not only for the machines but for the friendship it provided. But halfway through Series 4, something bizarre occurred. Sam vanished. There was no goodbye show, no on-screen explanation, only silence. And with silence came questions that never went away. Where did he disappear to? Why did he depart? Guesses were made, but the answers never materialized. That's because Sam's history has always been more than fans had any idea. Behind the shut doors of his Cornish workshop are more than tools and vintage engines. There's a legend and an enigma that goes far beyond TV. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel Spark Science, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. Sam Lovegrove is a name that is heard loudly in the realm of vintage motorcycles. To aficionados, he is not merely another TV mechanic, he's a master craftsman, a renovator with an eagle eye, engineering prowess, and an unshakable passion for reviving old-school machines. He's familiar to audiences from such series as Shed and Buried or Find It, Fix It, Drive It, in which he renovated magic on back-shelf relics and brought them from scrap to thundering treasures. But Sam's life didn't start in front of the cameras. Years before TV stardom, his life was already characterized by grit, curiosity, and a passion for machines that influenced every decision he ever made. Raised in the West Country of England, Sam was always that kid. Whereas the majority of children were running around kicking footballs, Sam was in the workshop, elbow deep in grease, messing around with engines, and attempting to figure out how they worked. His interest in mechanics wasn't instilled in the classroom initially, it was learned on his own. He would disassemble rusty old bikes bit by bit, only to reassemble them until they roared back into life. That need to learn and master equipment turned into his vocation. Sam was a whiz in class on anything that required accuracy, maths, physics, all things technical. His numbers and problem-solving acumen were innate. He eventually took that skill to Oxford Brookes University, where he majored in mechanical engineering. At Oxford Brookes, he didn't just survive on fumes, he graduated honors, balancing book intelligence with years of real-world experience that few could match. By the time his classmates were still lost on what career path to follow, Sam was already thoroughly involved in restoring vintage motorcycles. But it was more than fixing up old motorcycles to him, it was about saving history. Every restoration was a tribute, a means of keeping alive stories told in metal, grease, and the hum of an engine. His commitment spread word of mouth, attracting the attention of those who saw his unusual mixture of enthusiasm and ability. Doors started opening, however much TV was never an option. Sam's early life lay in earnest engineering. Working as a design engineer at Gemini Accident Repair Centers Limited, he concentrated on mechanical finesse, from suspensions through to gearboxes, in various vehicles. This was not garage-level tinkering, it was high-end, real-world engineering. It provided him with the kind of background that would later make his TV work look so easy. Following Gemini, Sam entered a higher adrenaline world as a development engineer at Honda Performance Development. There, he developed such legendary machines as the sexy Honda NSX and the ferocious Corvette C7 are Le Mans race cars. His increasing fame also came with consulting assignments from car titans like Aston Martin, Jaguar, and Lotus. Sam was not only talented by this time, he was becoming a legend behind the scenes, one of the names that insiders held in awe but the public knew nothing about. The turn of events came when Henry Cole met Sam. Henry was more than just another motorcyclist, he was a TV presenter who loved motorcycles and had a goal to alter the public stereotype of bikers. Unconventional, rebellious, and hot for old bikes, Henry found something special in Sam instantly. In addition to his knowledge, Sam exuded presence. He described mechanics in a manner that made the complicated seem elementary, accessible, even amusing. When Henry introduced him on camera for the first time, something clicked. Audiences caught on immediately. Sam wasn't attempting to act, he was simply being himself, witty, relaxed, and obviously in love with the business. That's how the motorbike show got underway, constructed on the effortless chemistry between Henry and Sam. It ended up being more than just another motorcycle show. The show had it all: restorations, ride-alongs, interviews, and road trips, but what made it really unique was its heart. Henry's enthusiasm blended with Sam's expertise and created a soul for the show. They didn't just flaunt bikes, they shared stories about them, and more importantly, reminded their audiences that machines have history and meaning. Memorable moments piled up season after season: Henry riding the extremely rare Brave Superior Super Sports, taking on the legendary Norton Commando racer, Yellow Peril, and working alongside Sam to revive a vintage Harley WLC and an Enfield Bullet. Sam possessed the ability to take rough, technical jobs and make them into lessons viewers could finally grasp. His matter-of-fact approach established trust, making him respected and even loved. The success of the motorbike show led to their next project, Shed and Buried. Hiding in barns and old sheds all over the UK were mechanical gems collecting dust. Henry and Sam were on a mission to dig them out and restore them, whether it was an old motorcycle, vintage vehicle, decrepit tractor, or even a boat. The idea was ingenious but straightforward: find history, bring it back to life, and occasionally make money doing so. Henry's passion and keen sense of a good bargain went well with Sam's mechanical mind. They were the perfect combination: Henry the idealist, Sam the pragmatist. But their exploits were not without tension. Henry's spontaneous buys sometimes got them into trouble, and Sam's falling in love with machines he needed to retain created its own distractions. That balance of teasing, tension, and respect for each other made the show habit-forming. Fans point back to times such as their haggle over an exotic 1962 Grieve Sportsman, when Sam flatly refused to pay too much for it no matter how hard the vendor pushed, or their restoration of a Ferguson TE20 tractor from Cornwall, which they restored bit by bit until it was auction-ready. There were scandals, as well, such as when they purchased a military Land Rover in Northern Ireland. They were criticized for downplaying its worth in order to make a deal, and it created controversy among fans. Throughout it all, Sam remained humble, allowing his work to speak louder than rumors. The show succeeded, and Sam's role increased with it. He was not flashy or self-promotional, merely a man who enjoyed the work. His integrity and talent forged loyalty among viewers who appreciated him as a person, not just a TV personality. To them, he was a respected figure in restoring vintage cars. His work increased even more when he and Henry started Find It, Fix It, Drive It, a program that turned retired machines into running legends. The show included entertaining challenges at the end of every episode, whether testing restored tractors in plowing competitions, racing old motorbikes, or taking classic cars onto vintage tracks. Once more, the recipe was a success because of their chemistry. Sam provided technical expertise, Henry contributed energy and narrative. Together, they took restorations and made them adventures. And then, without warning, Sam disappeared from our screens. Halfway through season 4 of Shed and Buried, fans had noticed he was missing. Rumors began: was this the end for him? Henry later revealed that Sam had been ill, hit by an illness which had kept him out. Apart from that, information was limited. Fans wondered if it was a short-term separation or a goodbye forever. In November 2022, Henry traveled to Cornwall to see Sam and captured on camera their reunion. The fans were given a glimpse into Sam's life outside the limelight, his workshop filled with projects, his bond with Henry remaining, and his enthusiasm for ancient machines burning as strong. It provided much reassurance that television might have halted, but Sam himself hadn't lost any pace. Aside from TV, Sam continued to solidify his presence in the world of motorcycles, especially with Brave Superior, the classic British mark. Resurrected in 2013, Brough Superior aimed to live up to its legacy in the 20th century with its contemporary machines, and Sam was one of its lead engineers. He assisted in the design and development of bikes such as the Brough Superior SS100 and the Baby Pendine, motorcycles that not only appeared resplendent but set records on the salt flats. His engineering took bikes to numerous AMA and FIM world records, demonstrating his skills went far beyond restoration. He was crafted